Have you heard of the ability Iron Fist? If not, then check out this video to see why a punch may not always be a punch. The answers may surprise you. While I was working on that video, I looked at similar abilities to see if any comparisons could be made. Iron Fist was introduced in Generation 4, and it was the first offensive ability to boost the power of a move based on category as opposed to type. As the years have passed, we find ourselves in Generation 9, and we have new abilities like Strong Jaw for biting moves and Punk Rock for sound-based moves. All these abilities are awesome, yet there's an ability that seems to be strangely missing. An ability that boosts the power of kicking moves. I'm sure many of you have been wondering about that too, because it's an idea that makes sense, right? It just works. Look at these two Pokémon, Hitmonchan and Hitmonlee. They are the punch and kick Pokémon. This iconic Generation 1 duo from the Fighting Dojo are references to talented martial artists. In Japanese, Hitmonchan is a reference to Hiroyuki Ebihara, a pro boxer from the 60s. Hitmonlee is a reference to Tadashi Sawamura, the stage name of a highly influential Japanese kickboxer. In English, Hitmonchan and Hitmonlee are references to Jackie Chan and Bruce Lee. The localizers were sitting in a room with these guys on a whiteboard trying to name it. Dude, check out these radical mons. They hit other mons, kinda like Jackie Chan and Bruce Lee. In most other languages, they just transcript the English or Japanese name. France and Germany get points for changing up the name, and Korea gets a gold star for using their notable Korean martial artists. Overall, these two are a pretty big deal for thematics, Pokemon history, and influential martial artists. So when Generation 4 rolled around and Iron Fist was bestowed upon Hitmonchan and other punchy Pokemon, it would have been reasonable to expect that Hitmonlee and other leggy Pokemon would be granted an equivalent ability. It makes sense though, since Hitmonlee is often overlooked. Hitmonlee is the older brother that is so overshadowed by their sibling that everyone thinks the ages are reversed. No, seriously, Hitmonlee comes before Hitmonchan in the decks. But whenever people talk about the group, it's almost always ordered Hitmonchan and Hitmonlee. Perhaps because people associate punching and kicking in that order specifically? Or is it because the anime usually reveals them in that order? Hitmonchan is the clear favorite, getting elemental punches, drain punch, iron fist ability, and the spotlight. They even introduced Hitmontop, who directly competes with Hitmonlee's kicking gimmick. At least Hitmonchan is, historically, the least viable of the three in most forms of competitive play. So Hitmonlee has a place where it gets an iota of respect. Today, we're going to give Hitmonlee and its other kicking friends the reward they deserve by introducing an ability just for them, Iron Soul. Pokemon with this ability have an extremely strong will, such a strong iron soul that they never miss leg day. This coincidentally makes their soul strong as iron as well, boosting the power of kicking moves by 50%. I know some of you may be concerned about balance hearing this. Believe me, an Iron Soul boosted stab high jump kick sounds terrifying on paper. However, keep in mind that strong kicking moves in general aren't as accurate as the other classes of moves. 80 to 90% accuracy on your highest power bread and butter moves isn't pleasant. Missing a move like high jump kick is a travesty that can cost you half your HP, a crucial KO, or even the game. In addition, kicks currently do not have as much coverage as other move categories like punching moves, sound-based moves, aura or pulse moves, slicing moves, or even biting moves. Kicks have a stampede of fighting and normal type moves and very few coverage kicks with low distribution. Ghosts completely invalidate your ability if you're stuck with the most common fighting type kicks. This is especially rough since using high jump kick into an immunity still counts as a miss, so you're giving a free switch and losing health. Check out the Iron Fist section of this other video to hear more about abilities that boost moves based on move category. The main point is that 50% is a perfectly fair boost for Iron Soul because of all the shortcomings of kicking moves. Next, let's clarify the mechanics of the kicking move category and how to approach this process. We're not going to go based purely on the English name. The games are designed and programmed in Japan, so the move category should factor in the default language, Japanese, since every other localization is a derivative. Using the logic of the other move categories, we will not purely use the appearance of a foot or a leg in the animation as being evidence of a kick. Close combat and thrash, despite having feet in the animation, aren't kicks or punches right now. We can't use the Japanese name alone, so we need to look at the move description because sometimes even the Japanese names are misleading about the move category. For example, the move Machagacha in Japanese is Shaka Shaka Ho. Shaka shaka is a sound effect you may have seen in some manga to depict shaking or rustling sounds. Ho can be interpreted as cannon, but long story short, Mega Launcher and Bulletproof don't interact with this move, and that makes perfect sense due to the Japanese descriptions. This was probably localized to be shorter, catchier, more overtly reference matcha tea, and to dissuade English speakers from thinking it's affected by Mega Launcher or blocked by Bulletproof ability. This is a great example of why move names and descriptions should be meticulously decided and meticulously localized. The specifics and literal meaning sometimes needs to be higher priority than sounding cool or blending with the target culture. In Japanese, the way that leg and foot are distinguished isn't done exactly the same way as we do it in English, so the context matters. Many of the Japanese kicking moves will have geri or kick in the name, so that helps make a few of these easier. As for move descriptions, any move that uses the foot, heel, or legs to strike should count. A move like high jump kick might be depicted as a kick or a knee bash in the anime, but it's a leg strike all the same. Hammer arm is an arm swing, but the description says that the Pokemon uses its fist, so it still gets an Iron Fist boost. It would seem that these abilities are more about striking with the appendage as a whole. If we get moves in the future that are more related to thighs and hips, those should not count. As an example, if we get the move Leg Lock, which involves crushing an opponent between the thighs, it's unlikely that Iron Soul could reasonably come into play. The same goes for a headlock being unaffected by Iron Fist. When distributing the ability, we can include Pokemon with feet, paws, hooves, and other terrestrial appendages. They don't have to be mammalian in design to get this ability. Lizards, birds, frogs, insects, and abstract things with reasonable leg strength such as T-Rexes, ostriches, and grasshoppers could potentially get this ability. So we're going to go through all the regular moves that should be boosted by Iron Soul and quickly explain why they get an Iron Soul boost. Similar to the research for Iron Fist, it's not as simple as pulling up the move list and using Ctrl plus F to find all the moves with kick in the name. Lastly, we aren't including Z moves since those aren't boosted by abilities like Iron Fist or Strong Jaw. Let's get into it. Stomp absolutely counts. Stomp is Humisuke, or trample. Stomping is just extending your leg into the ground hard. If you use any other part of the body, it's no longer a stomp, right? If you don't think getting curb stomped by really hard souls would hurt, then you should enter this specific villa in Undella Town. Stomp is approved. Double kick is 2 fighting type kicks. Approved. Mega kick, a normal type megaton kick. Approved. Jump kick, a drop kick. Approved. Rolling kick, a roundhouse kick. Approved. Low kick, a kick but more on this later. For now, approved. High jump kick, a jumping knee kick like Tiger Knee. As I said before, a leg strike is a kick for our purposes. Also, the kick button is used for Tiger Knee in Street Fighter, so approved. Triple kick. Now there's 3 kicks. Approved. Blaze kick. A flaming kick with a high critical hit ratio and a decent chance to burn. Approved. Low sweep is a kick. The move's name and description may not say kick, but that's in English. You see, our low sweep is called ro kick, low kick, but our low kick is called ketaguri, kick down. This mix-up is kind of like the localization mismatch between Comet Punch and Meteor Mash. Low sweep, approved. Trop kick, a grass-type kick with a tropical flavor. It trops the target's attack stat. Approved. Triple axle, a twirling, icy triple kick that grows in power. Approved. Thunderous kick, a fighting-type kick, it's just that the Galarian bird trio references their Cantonian typings in their signature moves. Approved. Triple arrows, kicks the opponent, then shoots the arrows. Approved. Axe kick, a rising kick followed by a falling axe kick. Approved. That's it. Those are truly all the kicks that exist as regular, learnable moves. I'm also going to quickly run through things that don't count because I know these are going to be very common what-about-isms people will bring up. Thrash isn't a kick or a leg strike. Bounce doesn't specifically involve landing on the opponent with a kick or a stomp. Close combat is a series of blows, but not specifically and exclusively kicks. Heat crash is hito stamp, heat stamp, but this isn't specifically stamping a foot or a leg. It's more like a press or a slam. It was a signature move of the Embor family, which are wrestlers, but there's no concrete evidence that it can be a leg strike specifically. The most compelling evidence is that it's a move based on the user's weight, so it makes more sense as a flaming body hip drop than a flaming kick. We already have Blaze Kick, and the poster child starter for the move, so do we really need this Porker's signature move to be a flaming T-pose dropkick for dominance? I think not. High horsepower is not a kick, it's a full body charge despite the horseshoe animation. Stomping Tantrum is not a kick, nor is it necessarily a stomp on the opponent. Aqua Step is not a kick. Both descriptions describe it as a light and fluid dance step, but makes no specific mention of actually kicking. Similar to Close Combat or Thrash, the move could involve or not involve kicking, but because the move can be used without using the legs to strike, we aren't counting it. With that, we've covered everything we'd need to. It would be an acceptable ability, but would definitely be better if kicking moves had better coverage and distribution. Maybe we'll get Lightning Legs and Swamp Sweep one day. At the very least, Iron Souls will grant Hitmonlee indemnification for the unfathomable negligence he has endured. What Pokemon would you distribute the Iron Souls ability to? Let me know in the comments. And that's all I've got. Bye.